to explain a little bit more detail that analysis piece, once you've done your risk assessment and identified your risks, you need to analyze by way of determining what the impact, maybe perhaps consequence. There are so many different terms used for the different things that you can actually measure in risk management, but the impact or the consequence might be called likelihood. I use impact and likelihood rather than, usually certainly likelihood rather than probability. When you've got clinical trial teams and you're doing risk assessments, so one of those will be a statistician, and if you're going to have some way of numerically classifying your risks, trying to explain to a statistician that yes, it's probability and I can have a value of 3, I gave up doing that and decided to likelihood instead. It saved a lot of time and reduced the risk of getting on the wrong side of the statistician. So impact and likelihood, they're fairly straightforward. You know, what impact would it have it happened? What's the likelihood of it actually happening? The FDA threw a slightly curved ball into the whole thing a couple of years back when they started saying, and what about detectability? Okay, well, all right, detectability. It actually doesn't make it more difficult. It does mean that you've got another parameter you can potentially target with some activity, but analysing it by impact and likelihood and the potential for detectability. But then when you plan, you only manage the most significant risks. I have on numerous occasions had colleagues who come to me and said, oh, Janie, I know you're into risks. Can I show you my risk management plan? Yes, of course you can. And they've actually determined what they're going to do about every single risk, even if it was minimal impact and highly unlikely to occur, which is really, unfortunately, a total waste of time and effort. You will only plan to manage the most significant risks. Then you track what you're doing and you control it. And the really important thing is this is not a tick box exercise. You're not doing this just so that you can tick the box in the project plan that says you've got to do risk management. You are doing this so that it actually delivers benefit to the clinical trial as a whole. If it's not delivering benefit, then stop doing it. Risk management's a discipline that adds benefit to absolutely any activity, as I've just said. I mean, don't just save it for work. I mean, if you're about to buy a new house or consider, you know, moving to another country, do some risk management. Decide what are the things that potentially could go wrong, what impact they would have, what likelihood they are to occur, and then do something to sort them out if they're likely to derail your plans. Risk management's, one of its risk management's other major benefits, in addition to the fact it promotes good communication, is the fact that if you're doing effective risk management, or even if you're doing slightly ineffective risk management, you are ensuring that all your available resources are utilized where they deliver the greatest benefit. You will not be wasting time and effort on something that, well, we always do it in a clinical trial, if it's not actually targeted at minimizing one of your risks, then there's not much point in doing it. And it's a lovely excuse for taking back to senior management who say, why aren't you doing X? For you to say, well, actually, we're managing all our risks, and X isn't one of our big ones, so we're concentrating on the big ones. It ensures that tasks that are, as I've said, that are always done, that may not necessarily be mitigations, can be justifiably left undone.